Hey guys, how you guys doing? It is March 22nd, 23rd, 22nd. If not, it's about to be the 23rd of 2019. Hoping you're having a wonderful day. A blessed day indeed. A couple things I wanted to talk about tonight. First off, let's talk about India and Pakistan. Alright? Today we saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about Prime Minister Modi sending Prime Minister Imran of Pakistan a message, all right, a message of goodwill, of peace, of hopefully resolving issues in Kashmir and along the LOC in a peaceful atmosphere. And I immediately went to Indian media and the opposition because they're going through elections right now, right? So this is a situation we have to continue to watch. They're going through elections, and we have to understand that there's going to be certain attacks, just like with American elections. And the opposition came out and stated, hey, whoa, what are you doing? What's the government's policy on Pakistan? You know, February 27th, we were about to launch a bunch of missiles at them. We've been having fighting along the LOC. You've decried Pakistan as a terror state, but now you're wishing them goodwill? What is going on? And Prime Minister Modi's government came out and said, hey, listen, it's Pakistan Day, it's Pak Day. We've boycotted it, but it's only right and it's only customary for us to send this message out. All right? So we don't know if this message is going to lead to any lasting peace between the two countries. I don't think it's going to. These two countries have hated each other for decades, so I don't think one message from one prime minister to another is going to end that, or end all the problems that we're seeing in Kashmir or along the LOC line, or the line of control. It's a little redundant. But, you know, at this point, I'm just giving a little update about it, okay? Both countries seem to be throwing around NOTAMs like they're candy, you know? Both countries are closing airspace and reopening airspace, closing airspace. It's a pretty crazy situation. Like I said, my instincts tell me nothing's going to happen until after the elections are done in India. But like I always say, miscalculation is key. You know, we got to keep on watching that. Another thing with North Korea, I got a bone to pick with President Trump. Just because, you know, it's like 75% of the time I'm like, hey, this guy's doing a pretty good job. You know, I don't really like his ego. I hate how he's on Twitter all the damn time. I like dealing with a teenager, but hey, you know, I like a lot of the decisions he makes. I like the fact that he doesn't really give a shit what people think. You know, poll numbers don't really matter to him. Other politicians and their views don't matter to him. And I like that aspect about him. Now, what I don't like, all right, one of the things is, you know, President Obama made the United States of America look weak on the international stage. And if anything, Trump has currently made the United States of America look unorganized, all right? Yesterday, we had the State Department come out and say, hey, we're putting more sanctions on North Korea, or rather on Chinese companies working with North Korea. And then today, President Trump, of course, took to Twitter and said he was withdrawing those sanctions. And when asked about this, Press Secretary Sanders came out and said, she was like, oh, he likes Chairman Kim, you know? He likes Chairman Kim. And a lot of analysts were, like, confused, like, oh, well, wait, the State Department said that these are on, but he's saying these are off. What's going on? And everyone's just confused, you know? North Korea has done absolutely nothing to warrant sanctions being lifted, and the only thing that I could think of is that President Donald Trump is trying to get North Korea back to the table. The fact is that North Korea, they are the masters of stalling. You know, they're going to stall for as much time as they need. And yes, they are not testing. They are not testing missiles at this point. I think that's going to continue. I think it's going to start back up. But yes, they're not testing at this point. And why are they not testing? Well, they're not testing because they've already got a working ICBM. They've already got a working warhead. You know, what's the point? They don't need a nuke test anymore. They don't need a missile test anymore. If they do, it's a provocative act. You know, they proved to everyone last year that they could launch ICBMs and they could launch them successfully. So taking this idea and this notion that North Korea has stopped testing and they've done it at the behest of the United States of America is kind of a joke. You know, they're obviously stalling for time, and I'm afraid that President Trump seems to be falling for old North Korean tricks, you know. Not a lot of news on Venezuela, honestly, today. Really not a lot of news whatsoever, other than the fact that there was more firing and exchange of fires between Pakistan and India along the LOC. You know, we don't really know. It's weird. We hear about India and the amount of soldiers that they lose during these cross-border firings, but we really don't hear about Pakistan. I don't know if that's just because people aren't there to witness it, or we don't have the information on hand. But I hear of Indian casualties, but not Pakistani. It's really weird. I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about the whole North Korea situation, because that's not going to get better. They emptied the liaison office this morning between them and South Korea, and they were basically like, "Hey," but you know, that was kind of expected. I mean, they haven't talked. Their militaries haven't talked for 3 weeks. North Korea continues to not show up to meetings. You know, so everyone's acting like, "Oh, this is this big deal." You know, mainstream media is coming out and saying, "Oh my gosh, they're leaving negotiations in the dust." Well, yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious if you just open your eyes. It's pretty obvious if you just follow the situation, you know. So basically, India, Pakistan, North Korea, only things I wanted to talk about. I mean, we can talk about the world basically hating the fact that Donald Trump said the Golan Heights were Israel's sovereign territory. It seems a little hypocritical because, you know, a lot of people are pointing out, like, hey, you know, Crimea, Russia, it's basically kind of the same thing, and you're saying, you know, except for Crimea actually held elections, and you're saying that that was wrong, but this is right. You know, it's a little hypocritical. But that's where we stand at this point. We'll have more information as the weekend goes on. As more information about it comes out, I'll let you guys know. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it, all right? Have a few beers. It's Friday night, so have a few beers. And if you don't like beer, don't drink it. You don't have to. But if you do, have yourself a drink, all right? And Morgan, if you're watching this, buddy, you know, nothing but love. Nothing but love, all right? So, yeah, have a few drinks. Say a few prayers, because there's plenty of people around the world less fortunate than myself or you that need them. And as always, keep your eyes to the skies. God bless.